verse 11. And when the Pharisees saw this, they said to his disciples, "Why is your rabbi eating with the tax gatherers and sinners?" No compassion here. No heart of God. There were good Pharisees. Don't judge all Pharisees. Nicodemus was a Pharisee. Even Paul was along those lines. But these ones, this is typical religiousness without God. Why? The only thing they're concerned about is the fact that he is eating with sinners. And they see it as a bad thing. You know, when we were at the Messiah College, we had the tape of India and these people, you know, these massive people in robes getting saved. And, you know, most people were real blessed, but there's a voice that, you know, someone said to someone else, said, why does he have to go over there? Why does he have to go to those people? You know, the Jewish people here, he doesn't have to go there for the Indian people. He's saying, why are we here? Why are we here? You know, what's it about? Why? More concerned about these things. It's like he does a miracle, and they're more concerned that you broke the Sabbath. How? Because you performed a miracle on the Sabbath. Wait a minute. If you're performing a miracle, doesn't it mean that you must be like linked up with the guy who made the Sabbath? You know? So so here they're saying they're going up. They don't go up to him. They're like, it's cowardly. They don't go to him. They go behind his back. They go to the disciples. Why does your rabbi, and they probably are not really asking because they're interested. They're probably saying, you shouldn't be following him. Why does your rabbi eat with the sinners? You know, it's easy to judge by appearance. Be very careful of that. People associate with other people. You don't know why they're associating. The most holy thing in the world, he was called a friend of sinners. Thank God, or we'd never get in. Verse 12, but he overheard that. He overheard them talk, and he said this, verse 12. It is not those who are healthy who need a physician, but those who are sick. That's one of the most beautiful words. Thank God Matthew had that party. It is not, just to hear those words, it is not those who are healthy who need a physician, but those who are sick. Now, Messiah is not trying to distance himself or defend it. He's not trying to say, oh, I wasn't really with them. Peter did that later on. But he's not saying I'm not with them. You know, the enemy is attacking, saying, why do you associate with them? And instead, he stays with them. He says, I am supposed to be with these. They're, you know, whatever you call them. But instead of distancing himself, you know, sometimes our own heart says, Lord, you ever say to God, how can you stay with me? I see this, especially that guy. No, he's saying, yes, absolutely. If you have a heart for God, you're actually going to ask that question. You know, if you don't understand God, you might not ask that question. If you do understand, you will ask, how can you be with? But then you'll understand without understanding. And that's because you don't have to understand. It's his love. All right, why does he still associate? Lord, why do you still associate? Why don't you give up? Why don't you give up on us? Why do you still associate with us? He said, because I'm a friend of sinners. I can't help myself. I'm a friend of sinners. What a loyal friend God is. Closer, there is one who sticks closer than a brother. Closer than a brother. He doesn't need anything from us. He doesn't want anything out of us, any ulterior motive. He just loves us. How much more should we be faithful friends to him? Never back away from him. Never. Someone says, do you belong to Jesus? Yes, I do. You belong to Yeshua? Yes. You better believe I do. Because there's no one else. No one else. No one in eternity. No one else like him. Period. Everyone. You know, and it's like even in the world, even among Hindu, Muslim, all that, there's a sense about him that he is different. There is no one like him. There's no one who will be with us for eternity. Therefore, we must set our hearts first to him and become good friends with him. So what does he say? Who is it that needs a doctor? It is not the healthy who need a doctor. It's the sick. So where do you expect me to go? What's he saying? He's saying, I'm the doctor. I'm the doctor. You know, the Pharisees, he's saying to you, you go around as if you are doctors, but you're not healing anybody. You're as doctors, and what you're doing is you're avoiding the sick because you don't want to get contaminated. What kind of doctor are you? He says, verse 13, go and learn what this means. And he quotes from the Hebrew Scriptures. I desire compassion and not sacrifice. For I didn't come to call the righteous, but the sinners. Go and learn. He tells you, great teachers, go and learn what the Bible means here. You are to be experts in all these things. And this also often happens with people who have a little bit of religion, or a little bit of God, but religion and nothing else. And what happens is it becomes a judgmental thing. And he says, you got to get back to the basics. How did you get saved? You got saved on your knees. You got saved because you were a wretch. You got saved because God loved you. We got to get back to that. For I desire, and what he's quoting from is Hosea 6. It says, for I desire mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. What's happening with that? God is telling Israel, listen, I know about the sacrifices. I told you to bring them. I know that's part of the ceremonial law, but that means nothing to me without the heart. I want the heart. I want the heart. Lip service means nothing. Religion means nothing. God is never religious. I want the heart. God doesn't desire sacrifice. It's about love, mercy, compassion. What is God asking of you? Love, mercy, compassion. Love. You know, Augustine said, love and do what you will. And there's truth to that. Love and do whatever you want. Because if you're loving with God's love, you're going to do his will. What is Messiah saying to these people? He's linking together sin and sickness. He's saying, what is sin? It's like a sickness. It takes away your wholeness. The more you get into sin, the more it robs your life. The more you get into bitterness, the more it takes apart your heart. The more you get into worldliness and carnality, it takes apart your peace and your marriage and whatever else in your life. But righteousness leads to healing, wholeness, wholeness. He looks on the sick as if they're diseased. I mean, he looks at the sinners as if they're diseased. He looks with compassion. And we need to do that too. When somebody's really out of it, we got to say, whoa, let's see this person as someone who's sick. Not that they can't help it, but sin is a sickness. It's not well. It's got to be sick. And so if you see somebody, instead of saying, oh, that person's been my whole life they've been, how about, hey, that person is sick. And they're meant to be something else. You know, and all you've been doing is you've been seeing them as the sick version. And you think that's them and you don't like them because of the sickness. But how does God see it? He made that person to be someone else. That person in your life, whoever it is, that person was meant to be beautiful. But you're only seeing the fallen version. So start having faith. See how God sees. Have faith for what they can become. And stop reacting to that, oh, they're sick, and they go back and forth sick. How about see what they could be in God's grace and God's love, and love them, and love them. He saw through it. He says, I'm seeing all these people, but I don't say, oh, they're sinners, get out of there. I'm saying, I see sick people. I see sickness, and I see people who are meant to be God's children. You know, some people say, yeah, but you know, believers, you know, that they're, you know, how come you get people who have problems? How come, you know, these people who always come to the Lord, okay, I was having a problem, I was a drug dealer, I was this. Well, first of all, we weren't all drug dealers. Some people were drug dealers. But the point is that who else is going to be looking for the answer except those who know they don't have it? Now, he's not saying that only these are the sick people and you Pharisees are not. He didn't say that. He just said he came for the sick. That's all he said. Now, the thing is that, you know, it's like saying, you know, they're saying like, if you go to a hospital, you know, you find people who are sick. But they're not going to the hospital because the hospital is sick. They're going to the hospital to get well. So why do people go to Messiah? Because Messiah is the source of wellness. It's not a, you understand? People say, oh, I see people going. Well, of course, because they're looking for, they know it. Everybody's got a problem, but these people know it. That's the difference between you and them. You're just as sick, but they know it because the world tells them, because they see it on the outside. But you're just as bad. So what does it mean that they go to Messiah? It means that he's got the healing. He's got healing. And so it's a reflection. So it's like a baby goes to milk. People who are starving go to food. People who are thirsty go to water. That means the water is good. It's the answer. It's the answer. In fact, it turns out the people who are in the Lord statistically are healthier mentally, emotionally, physically than people who are not. That's a fact. That's a scientific fact. That's a fact. But the point is,
To find out how you can receive more of Jonathan's teachings, to receive special free gifts, or get in touch, go to hopeoftheworld.org or call toll-free 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821. You can also get more at Jonathan Cahn's Facebook page or write us direct at Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA.